here's why this one matters. The way I like to think about this is a backpack. So imagine we were going on a road trip, and you're going with your family and your kids out west. You're going to Yellowstone. You're going to be out there for 3 weeks, out in the backcountry with just a backpack. What are you going to bring? And the reality is like, well, there's a lot of things I won't bring. I'm not going to bring a bowling ball. I'm not going to bring a flat screen TV, or a weight bench. But I'm going to bring like a water purifier. I'm going to bring maybe a fire starter. Why? Because those actually do real work for me in the real world, in that environment. Most kids, when they walk away from their faith, they either drift away on the inside, they become Christian relativists on the outside. They go, well, I was just raised as a Christian, that's just true for me, or they were never convinced in the first place. Mm-hmm. But a lot of kids don't walk away because of some massive new argument. Usually what happens is they have, some of them who are at least raised in a Christian home, have a sentimental view of their faith that evaporates over time, and they discard it as irrelevant and not useful because it doesn't help them. So what happens is they graduate from high school and they graduate from their faith because, look, the screens that I navigate, the feed that I'm seeing is so much more complex than the faith I was raised with, this coloring book Jesus. And I have sweet memories of coloring book Jesus when I was 5 and going to camp when I was 7, but it doesn't do anything for me in the real world. So a grown-up worldview makes sense and answers the questions that need to be answered with an increasing level of sophistication. So for example, most students today in high school, they're doing dual enrollment, they're doing AP this, they're
chemistry,
they're doing high level stuff, but there's still a lot of them, and a lot of times it's not even their fault. They're stuck with Joseph in a coat of many colors, and there was a Daniel and a lion's den thing in there somewhere. And again, those are great, but that's going to evaporate in like 2 seconds when you start talking about AI or ethics or belief in God and quantum mechanics and the whole, like, how does that relate to God and all those things? And well, God's just a divine father figure. You project that reality. I mean, that stuff's gone.
Yeah.
So we need to give them a grown-up faith that answers the questions that they're actually encountering. And that means we need to raise our game. We need to call them to more, invite them to more, bring more challenge. You don't grow with comfort. You grow with challenge. Appropriate challenge at the right ages and stages. I'm not saying do this like for a 5-year-old, but if they're heading into their teenage years and middle school years, look, they're navigating a lot of bigger questions already. You want to be the one that's introducing those, talking about questions of origin, identity, meaning, morality, destiny. That needs to be happening in your home for them, and that's key. So we want to have a grown-up worldview where we challenge them that explains what needs to be explained.
This is such an important point. I speak to so many students, not just at Impact, but several different ministries. I go in the summers, and I just did one last weekend. I'm doing one next weekend, and every single time, kids are so underestimated by adults. So many adults think kids can't pay attention for longer than 15 minutes, and you better keep it kind of light and fluffy and keep it fun and throw t-shirts at them, and all that's fun. I'm not saying don't do that stuff, but I can't tell you how many times I'll get up and you see the kids are totally not engaged, and then you start talking about things that are really relevant to their worldview that they're facing in real time, and they perk up. They want to know more. The first time I ever taught apologetics to a group of students, I did some atheist role play, where I pretended to be an atheist, and it was like the youth group doubled in size the next week when I came back. They all brought their friends because that's the kind of stuff they need to know about. And I just think you're right. The kids are doing chemistry and algebra 2 and all these things in school, and we think they can't pay attention to some theology and apologetics for 20 minutes. They, not only can they, but they are hungry for it.
Yes. They want direct talk on questions that matter.
Yes.